Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars. My name is Colin.
I'm a geologist.
I'm Christian.
I'm Cap. I think I'm Star. I don't know.
And I'm Batman.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, Batman. Nice mask.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, at first I thought I was seeing two things of Hunter, but it looks like it's two Joshes this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, that's... God, that helmet looks atrocious.
Whoa!
Wow.
Shots fired.
You can't see, but I see tears just slowly coming out of the helmet.
R/ kamikaze by words.
This is actually... Yeah, this is...
Well...
mock Hunter with here?
Well, this week we are breaking down episode 14 of The Bad Batch, and next week is the last episode, and there's a lot for them to break down. There is a lot for them to catch up on. I feel like there's going to be a lot of loose ends, and it's going to be really, really frustrating and sad at the same time. But who knows? Because we don't know how long the next episode will be.
It better be longer than 24 minutes.
Yeah, it better be. I don't know how they're gonna tie it. I expected this episode to go a lot further into whatever the conclusion was, and I feel like we got just a little sliver of setup.
Yep. I feel like this is like a really dangerous area of where we are because of weekly release streaming shows and spoilers.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you have like a lot of things that you're trying to hold on to, it's really difficult to, have some of those really big reveals come out, and then, those spoilers come out, and then stuff. It's much easier for them to just dump everything in one episode. We saw that in Book of Boba Fett when almost all of the insane reveals were in one episode. We saw that in Mando season 2. We've seen that in Mando season 3. It's just very consistent for kind of that lead up happens for one bombshell episode. And so I was kind of expecting that we were going to get a more drawn out preparation this week.
Yeah. It's just got to be long. The last episode has to be like an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And something that I was thinking about, and I will dive into it later, but is it me, or is it it was really weird not to have any side adventure episodes this season, and the entire thing was plot driven. I was so used to them last season of where they were like, oh, let's go with Indiana Jones, Fee, on this adventure, and then it was just just a random thing. But this entire season has been plot driven. Every single episode has had a main plot driven episode, and I think there were some missions where it was like, okay, I could consider this a side mission, but at the same time not really, because it had to do with the plot. So it was really interesting. But
I can't say I'm really surprised this season that there wasn't any plot driven episode, or there wasn't any it was all plot driven episodes. There wasn't any filler episodes, but it was refreshing, I guess, in a way, because we're so used to that in literally every Star Wars show. And not that those are always bad things, but it's just been heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
Yeah. And a lot of these episodes, even the ones that have had the most kind of fluff, so to speak, have still been very character driven. So we get, development and growth of these characters without necessarily it needing to be, an action-packed episode that does a ton of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so I'm really excited to see of what's all going to be in the final episode, but let's dive into this episode. So we end up kind of going straight into where we left off, and they're in hyperspace. They are on their way, and they're in my opinion, I think they just winged the whole thing. I don't think they
Yeah.
were just like,
Oh,
all right,
Mhm.
yeah, like, all right, here's the plan. It was like, okay, this is gonna happen. If it works out, it works out. But how did we feel about them just kind of going with the flow? Because that's basically what their plan was.
That's classic Bad Batch fashion, you know, for them
Yeah.
to just sort of go for it. I don't really think they had a choice because they have no intel on Tantus. They don't even I guess they still don't really know where it is. They just kind of hitched a ride. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they're getting into. So I think it makes sense that they are just kind of winging it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I also think it's like that they're desperate, you know, like even hearing them be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what about Echo?" And they're like, "Well, he'll figure it out." Like Echo's literally going into the heart of Tantus by himself, and they're like, "Good luck, buddy," you know, and like that's just they're completely desperate at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a degree to which the I feel like the Bad Batch's thought process when it comes to Echo is an ARC trooper. He can handle himself.
And he can. Like this
Yeah.
whole episode, like he's the MVP.
Oh,
Like he
yeah.
literally the last 2 episodes, he's been just yeah.
Yep. And speaking of Echo, I loved that he was able to kind of put on the stormtrooper armor, but because he didn't have a hand, like he like kind of had to hold his like kind of arm up and like kind of cover his hand with the blaster. And then he later got a protocol hand, but I thought that was really interesting because of when he thought of the idea of like, oh, I'm going to put on this armor. I was like, how is he going to pull that off? So
I
Yeah.
expected to either just be like a limp glove or
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, we're finally fulfilling what the Hot Toys figure
Yeah, the
guys
protocol droid hand.
years ago or whatever.
yeah.
I'm just surprised he could fit the stormtrooper bucket on over with the neural implant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not there.
Yeah, but like
Like
I
it's
would think that's part of his head.
well, no, like we're
Yeah,
not-
when he took it off later
Yeah.
in the episode, he no longer had the Lobot.
Right, but like the
Yeah,
robot
noticed that.
implant is implanted.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
supposedly not.
Wasn't
Okay,
it-
apparently it's a quick disconnect USB-C port then.
Yeah, if you
I thought
go
it was additive.
if you go to 2017 in the episode or like 2015, Echo has ears.
Yeah,
What
he
a
also
revelation.
he didn't have it on in season 7. Like when he came out of the pod, it was something
Oh, yeah,
he
you're
got
right.
in between season 7 and the first season of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So it's just some really fancy earmuffs. It's how he
I
listens
did
to the
not
computers.
realize that
Interesting.
at all.
I didn't realize it until I was thinking about it after because like in that scene, it's like something looks off about Echo. And then after the episode finished, I think I saw someone posting them online. I was like, oh, he's got ears.
Uh-huh. Huh.
He's not supposed to have ears.
Mhm.
That was I definitely want to talk about that moment once we get there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some stuff paid
Yep.
off that we
Yeah. So, we cut to Hemlock, kind of not surprised, but surprised at the same time that the Bad Batch has made it like so far, and then he
Hmm.
talks to not Scorch. Is that what we're calling him now?
Yeah, fake Scorch. Yeah.
Okay, fake Scorch.
Can I-
And,
Not my Scorch.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I know that they infiltrate the High Charity in the last episode, but like, how did they know that it was in fact the Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Because like they never showed that in the last episode for them to get like a positive confirmation.
Yeah,
that it was the
we
Bad
just
Batch.
got Scorch going. It was Clone Force 99.
Yeah.
How
that
did
is
they
weird.
know that?
There's probably security cameras.
Yeah, but that'd be the first time in this show they've ever had security
You're
cameras.
not wrong. But
Right?
this is
Actually,
Star
no.
Wars,
They
and you
did
know what Star Wars
specifically
is.
show the security cameras when they went into the data room, and they didn't
Oh.
shoot them.
Oh.
That, so I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We normally get the shooting security cameras bit from A New Hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also had the
they did call him
officer,
out.
yeah, because the officer, he walks in the room and he's like, there was a breach over at the station, and it was confirmed it was the Bad Batch. So I think Hemlock kind of put two and two together and was like, okay, you know what? It's probably them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but so they then just kind of put the base on high alert, and they finally use those extra turrets that they added
Yeah.
to the mountain that, you know, came over budget, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And Tarkin's probably just freaking out right now. But,
More
you know,
super Imperial turbo lasers. I mean, those look super similar to the ones on the Death Star and on Star Destroyers and stuff. So just another area where we are progressing towards Imperial design for everything.
Yeah.
it was cool to hear the laser cannons too, like of them actually fire, because it was like, oh, it's that classic sound. So I love that.
It is a classic sound.
It was really
Yeah,
interesting to
fantastic
see
sound.
that it shook all of Tantus. Like the stabilizers on the turret aren't good enough, and it still shakes the entire
Yeah, it's
building.
a freaking mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you think. I'm only like a subpar geologist here, but I feel like it takes a lot to shake a mountain.
No, see, that's just a glorified like triangle building. That is not a mountain. They like the
Oh.
outside is just decoration.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think it's like a
I feel like it's
mountain.
lost most of its mountain aspects
Yeah.
once you hollowed it out.
How much do
Yeah.
you need to hollow out a mountain before it stops before it's not a mountain anymore?
Okay, also on the subject. Okay, no, it's related. So are there two Tantus mountains? Because like in these shots, I finally realized, and maybe we've commentated this before, but like it seems like there's like another one. Is that another base? You know, if the batch infiltrates this base, will they send reinforcements from the other base?
Tantus
You know,
to
because
Bueno.
it looks like there's two Tantai.
Is it dancing time?
Right.
Anti- yeah, no, there is a secondary one in the
Mhm.
establishing shots that has the
Yeah.
same. Like, and now that the point is being made, they are weirdly domed compared to the mountain range that's surrounding them. But I think
Yes.
they're still mountains.
I don't.
I mean, I
Like a hill. Hill.
They're,
Yeah.
like, they're
Giant
glorified-
snow-capped hill.
Yeah, and they're like perfect. Like they're perfectly symmetric. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
All right, done. Sorry.
anyway, so there's
If you built a camouflage mountain, you wouldn't build like the two mountains that are perfectly symmetrical in the
Oh.
entire range.
But
I feel
then,
they
like,
had,
it's not like he
five-
found it that way. So, like, I think somebody just really wanted symmetrical. fake
How can you
mountain
tell they
range.
didn't find them that way? It's a space planet mountain range. Maybe there's just perfect mountains.
You're
And they're
right.
like,
You're
guys,
right.
this would be great to hollow out.
That's probably what it is.
Uh,
My geologist
So-
is smart.
The other thing that I think is really funny about this mission, everything, is that you've got Rampart that is just there. So
Literally
Um,
just there messing things up.
Yeah. He's there to get
Yeah. I really want to know, and I really want somebody to establish that they had a plan of why the hell they brought him
I know.
before he just bumbles off and gets captured. Because, like, to me, I'm kind of frustrated by that. Because, like, dude,
Yeah.
why would you lug this guy? Like,
Yeah.
literally tie him up, leave him. I don't know, leave him on High Charity, and just let him. I mean, like, what is he gonna? I mean, I don't
So,
know.
I
I
think
am
the
to a
issue
tree.
the issue is I don't think because they were expecting to be able to find coordinates from that facility above Coruscant. They didn't think they'd have to immediately catch a ride at the same time. They were probably not planning on bringing Rampart to begin with.
Yeah.
They were
True.
just gonna, okay, we got him to get us the thing. We're gonna take him to a place and stick him somewhere and ignore
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and then we're gonna go to Tantus. And they're like, oh no, he has to come with us. But I completely agree. Just tie him to a tree somewhere.
A tree.
Leave him on ship.
There
I
were
mean-
3 times in this episode I fully expected him to die.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Like almost 100%.
And
When
each
Hunter
time was a
drew
little.
his pistol, I thought he was going to get capped.
Yeah.
The animal, I thought was going to eat him.
It
And
says
then-
something about the Bad Batch too, that they didn't just leave him on the ship. You
Yeah.
know?
I know.
I think they
But-
should. I would have.
I agree.
We got
Yeah.
clones surrounding like we had the same shot in season 7 of clones surrounding an astromech droid and ganking the thing.
I know.
Faster than they killed Rampart.
I know.
Very
That's a
real.
while.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have just like been like, good luck in the forest on your own. Have a
Yeah.
nice time. Like, and granted, that's what ends up happening. But I
Yeah.
just like, I feel like he's gonna mess stuff up for him, and it's just gonna
Yeah.
be like, dang it! I wish they would have tied him to a tree.
At the same time, what does he actually know about them?
I
that
don't
he could
know.
reveal? Because like they
my
already
point.
know the Bad Batch is there. They know
Yeah.
that they're out in the jungle. And so the only thing that I think Rampart could give them info on is actually maybe anything about Crosshair.
Because
Just
he really isn't
'cause
up on the stuff.
he doesn't
Like,
know
and
anything,
It's not
you
like they
know?
have a plan that
Yeah.
he knows about. 'cause
Yeah.
I don't think they do have a
Crosshair
plan.
they don't.
I was wondering when because Crosshair and him were having that conversation.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've changed. And he was like, sure you have. I was like, is he gonna pull out some like Winter Soldier code word and like turn Crosshair back to back?
That's what I
settings?
wondered.
It was a weird moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. And the
I-
music got all dark.
was-
Like there's something to that.
I was wondering because anyway, I wonder about these things. But I was wondering if like, you know how like in season 1 when Crosshair's like, I had my chip removed. Is it that like Rampart because like I don't know. Is it that they told Crosshair that they removed his chip, but they actually didn't, and so they could activate it at any given point in time? And
Ooh.
Rampart knows that, so he's going to give that up to like the Empire. Like I'm just trying to figure out like why that scene
Maybe.
matters.
I feel like
you know?
they already would have exploited that.
Yeah, you'd think, but I'm just trying to make sense of that scene. You know?
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. And again, this is all leading up to what are they gonna not do in the final episode, and what story are they gonna like tell? Because I feel like there's a lot of loose ends. So that just
Give me
man,
a 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
for me, the episode like of the minimum that like of the actual time length of the episode has to be at least 45 minutes. If it's under that, then I just feel like plots are just going to be rushed, and they'll be like, oh no, like here's this, here's that, oh no, here's a big thing going on, and then they just move on to the next thing, and I'm just like, geez.
Well,
so
I was
much
kind of
to-
like counting the like storylines or whatever, and kind of coming up like if you gave 2 minutes to each storyline, the episode would at least have to be like an hour, like to wrap up all of the individual questions that have still been left.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't think it will be though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like then what's the logical conclusion here? What are they gonna do in?
I don't know.
I feel like at this point they're gonna leave out Rex and all the other clones.
I agree.
We're just not gonna see him
I
again,
agree.
Well,
which
Yeah.
really bums me out.
I don't know if they're going to,
Then-
because what was Echo doing in that ship for so long? He was going through so much data before he even left the ship. I think he's sending codes, and he's sending
Could be.
coordinates to Rex.
You could be
Yeah.
sending them, or just in the hopes that he's getting off of this planet, he is collecting as much data as he can into his detachable USB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
robot.
I
Or-
would be surprised if that's
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Or he is looking up of the next tour dates of when Max Rebo is going on tour.
Oh my god.
You never know.
Yeah,
That
That's
is
fun.
extremely
Sorry. Guys, I really haven't talked about Max Rebo in a bit, so I just had to. I'm sorry. But
All right. So
Wait, every time.
despite poor taste in musicians, I'd be really concerned if they don't bring in Rex and his cadre of clones for the finale, because and then they're like, oh, well, we're gonna make a new show with them. So I feel like their drive to, and that if that happened, I think my personal opinion would be that their drive for wanting to have more media surrounding clones came at disservice in the Bad Batch's finale.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
you tie it up respecting the story of the batch without dragging it out or shoehorning in something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Although, okay, what does that episode title mean though? The cavalry has arrived. That really sounds, I know it's a line of wreckers, but still, like it sounds like here's a lot of people arriving.
It could
Yeah.
just be the Bad Batch arriving at
It-
Tampa.
Yeah.
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 Maybe they
I would
write a
be-
Zilla Beast.
Yeah,
Gondor.
maybe the
Yeah.
Zilla
Gondor's
Beast.
gonna answer the call.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I feel like they can't wrap it up unless they have at least an hour.
My thing with the finale title, "The Cavalry Has Arrived," is a very triumphant line in every
Yeah.
piece of media it's used. It's
Also,
never
it's the-
used to herald defeat.
Isn't it also the very first line we ever hear out of
Yes,
the
it is. It is.
It is,
It's the very first
from
line. any of
season
them say.
7. Yeah.
which makes it a fitting bookend. But
I knew it was records open. I didn't know if it was the very
It
first
is.
line we
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The first line of the Bad Batch. Yeah.
Yep.
So
The other thing I was gonna ask what you guys thought about is that the name Flash Strike. What did that have to do with the episode? I was trying to figure it out, and I literally could not figure it out.
I don't know. I was thinking about that too.
when they shot the Zillow Beast, it was a flash
Oh my
strike.
god.
wow,
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
what a stretch.
I
love it.
Okay, Indiana
It all makes
Jones.
sense
Let's Max Rebo reference within sub 5 minutes. You're gonna stretch that.
1 second. There you go. All right.
well, there
Okay.
is actually a definition for the term "flash strike," but I
Ooh,
don't think it has anything to do with the Bad Batch.
I just
It's
Googled
about
it too.
going on strike, as in
It's
like
what?
workers. It's about going on strike, as in workers going on strike against their employer.
Hmm.
And I don't think we're about to get a bunch of stormtroopers unionizing. I'll be
We're
honest.
going
So-
on strike.
I don't know. I would love that. Tarkin, stop. I mean, stop moving the budget, like of just the entire episode, and then then we get the sad ending. Like it's like the last 5 minutes, and just the stormtroopers just going on rats. But as the Bad Batch are like going in, and they are they're trying to survive and stuff like that. We have Omega and the kids in the vault that are trying to figure out a plan. How did we feel about everything with Omega kind of going off on her own adventure, and then she does discover the Zillow Beast, which we talked about last week? That was a theory that we did talk about. So it's cool that they are gonna probably tie that storyline up, which we've been waiting for a long time. So that's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
how do we feel about that?
I'm
Go
disappointed it
Omega.
took me this long to realize that the 3 alien children are colored like Pokemon starters.
That is the main
It's a
thing that you
sign.
take out of all of that. Love it.
Oh.
I really like the
Wow.
setup in that scene of showing how like set apart from like the other children Omega is, and how much of like a little commando mind she has, where
Yeah.
they're all like, what do you mean cover
Yeah.
you? Like you can just see
Yeah.
these kids have never thought a tactical thought in their lives, which makes sense. They're just normal kids, and she's all like, okay. And I liked that. It showed her
Yeah.
growth. And that's
I thought it was
Yeah.
really they're like attempts to distract the
Yeah.
like the doctor. They're like, "Hi, I'm not feeling too well. Give him a medical scan.
right.
Your body is fine. You're fine. You'll get over it. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting kind of hungry. Then wait.
Yep.
There is not a maternal instinct in that woman's
No.
body.
Well, what would you guys have done if you were an infantile, force-wielding child who has no military experience and was told to stall a giant hovering robot and a nurse lady?
I'd
probably
wait
go.
until they were in the next stall over, then induce vomiting.
Or
So-
like pretend to have a seizure. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Violently start like coughing, faking
Yeah.
massive illness.
Yeah.
We would all make
So-
great child prisoners.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
We would escape Kansas.
I'd break my leg using the straw doll.
Oh yeah.
How?
That's
Wait,
good.
what? How does that fall? Like, how? Can you
It's
describe
straw.
this? What does it mean?
Make it work.
I would probably just try and eat it. That would cause a problem.
Yeah.
How many calories do you
Really?
think is in a straw nuka doll?
So something I was thinking about was that the only kid I believe that we've actually seen use the Force was the youngest one, and
The
she's the
non-vocal.
only yeah.
Mhm.
Wasn't one of them using the Force to play a game at the table when we first saw him? I thought I remember.
Were
that.
they?
I think they have collars on, and I could be wrong. That like maybe do things, and I think that was like a floaty game. That like
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a little.
One of them is a floating cube game.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't
yeah.
know.
So
Different Star Wars
Question,
magic.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a chance that the other kids are like Omega, where they do have that good M count, but they're not at that level of where they can use the Force, while the other kid can use the Force to throw like a whole like fruit. So you're just
Yeah.
like, okay. But
Some
yeah.
of these kids have funky blood.
Funky blood. All
Yeah.
right.
There you have it, folks.
Okay.
Unless that's the way they're testing it.
Something else that I would like to talk about is Hunter. Do you now hate Echo because he just full out just shot a droid in cold blood?
He did what he had to do. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa.
Also, like mutilated his hand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. That was probably wow.
And
Hunter
as
doesn't
we
even care.
know
Fake.
from
Droid
big fan.
dismemberment.
Fake.
as we
wasn't
know from
doing it
season
anymore,
1
guys.
of the Clone Wars, taking droid body parts is not allowed by the Army of the Republic.
wow.
He needs
Out of all droids, I have like this inherent distrust of RA series protocol droids because of the Clone Wars movie.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay.
That's fair.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, yeah.
They're the one droid that it's
Yeah.
okay then.
Yeah.
to-
Yeah.
Like,
I
that
mean,
was
soon
he
to be
was, like-
Jedi Knight. Yeah. I
I
remember that.
still think they're cool. I just don't trust them at all, you know?
So you
That is-
loved when they became roadkill in Solo.
That sounds like droid hate crime, Hunter. I'm just saying, like, wow, just
Wow, of all the people to accuse that of.
It's
oh
it's
my
droid
gosh.
profiling is what it is.
Why? Okay. Why is this something being brought up now when there was a whole Clone Wars series where clones just slaughtered battle droids?
Because we haven't
have fighting
got
chance.
that part yet.
no.
They didn't take their hands. I don't know.
Oh.
Actually, one of them
they
did.
did.
That was a war crime.
But yeah, so we see that Echo just, he just kills a droid, takes the hand, and says thank you afterwards, by the way.
Yeah.
And
So fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
The continuation of the dad jokes from Echo. Thanks for the hand. And is
Yep.
there an
Yep.
Echo in here?
Yes.
And then the stormtroopers go down. Fake Scorch walks up and is like, we have to do another search. And they're like, but we already did one. He's like, too bad. We have to search the ship. And then Echo finds his way off the ship and he goes down that cool sand crawler tube thing that we, haven't seen in a while. So that
The
did
There was
totally back
something
in.
Hunter brought up last week, and I want to reiterate it. I want to know what the inside of that tube looks like.
Yes. Hunter did bring that up. Hunter agrees.
Yes, Hunter definitely brought that up.
Yes, Hunter absolutely did.
I do hope that the R3 astromech is safe and all right, though.
Is he safe?
Is it all right? Fair question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Can we get a Darth Vader reenactment no from you next week, Hunter?
Maybe.
No.
I thought it was really interesting how the Echo's entire weaving through the base
Mhm.
and he's plugging into multiple ports along the way
Mhm.
and clearly just trying to scrape data where he can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then he gets to a computer that gives him an access denied message. And it beeps at him, like a warning at him. I was saying an access denied message.
I thought that was really strange too. It was really easy for him to sneak through a maximum security scientific lab area. you know?
Yeah, he's not into the vault, but
I mean, I was watching that too, and I was like, God, if this was all Linux machines, you'd see user tags and everywhere, and be a whole mess of.
I
what
guess
you could do.
Echo's undoubtedly good at what he does. He's a cyborg meant to interface with computers.
tech.
So
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But
he's
also-
better than I.
But
He
I
got
think it
reported.
also brings up the security camera question again. If that's how they found them on High Charity in the last one, like how did they do they not have security cameras in Tantus? Like I'm just
We
it's
just
like
don't question
ju-
the security camera.
I question the security cameras.
know, but
How
like-
secure is this base? This base is so secure. There's not a single security camera anywhere.
we don't even secure it anymore.
We call it the Titanic.
Now,
Yep. And as Echo is sneaking into the base, we then have Omega sneaking out of the vault, and she kind of goes on her own adventure, and we see the Zillow Beast, and it looks like a new plan is brewing.
Yeah.
And
In between then and there, she was following what looked like the blood sample pods, but there were more
Yeah.
blood sample pods than there were being taken of the kids. So I'm like, where are those blood samples coming?
well,
Were
I
there
figured
more
they were
involved?
just general transport units.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I
Okay.
thought they were
Pretty
the,
small transport units. Like, hey, we want a Big Mac
Well,
upstairs.
It's the vacuum tubes you used to see at banks that they
Yeah.
would put the like pneumatic
No.
tube things in.
It
These
could
are
also
That's just
red
not
and-
that old.
It's
I know.
these-
I
these
remember
are
those. I loved them as a kid.
these are red and glowy because Empire.
I wanted
Yeah.
one of them so bad.
they are also taking tons of blood samples from random clones too.
Yeah.
So it could
Yeah.
be clone blood samples being
Yeah.
pushed to wherever from elsewhere.
What if some of it is Zillow Beast blood samples?
It could be.
no.
Turns out they're just trying to clone everything, so it's just different samples and
Makes
different
sense.
material.
Like in the EU, they talk a lot about the Empire trying to pull, like, basically the Empire tries to harness nature, which is like that's the irony of Return of the Jedi, right? The Ewoks defeat the Empire with
Yeah.
sticks and rocks, but like the Empire in the EU would try and take, and that's what Palpatine was trying to do in the Clone Wars, was take the genetics from the Zillow Beast and put that into armor or military tech or whatever, and it just never works because nature like stands up to this mechanized machine that is the Empire.
Well, it's that whole nature in itself is inherently neutral, but that doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily go to one side or the other in terms of the balance
Yeah.
of the Force. Because like most natural living beings, even like predators, aren't inherently evil. They don't kill for the sake of killing. They kill for the sake of eating.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they don't act with malicious intent, whereas the dark side is very inherently malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, going off of Cap's observation, they were successful in Electrical Mountain already. There's two now. So,
You were just really quiet, man.
Yeah, the mic was not
Oh.
picking you up.
if we go off of Cap's previous observation, they already cloned a mountain. So,
Yeah.
What if we took this mountain and just cloned it over there?
That's how it
Cloning. I mean, cloning it. I mean, it makes sense.
I know. Yeah.
all living
Yeah.
things, that tree, the bush, the rock.
The rock.
Honestly, Control C, Control V is really effective on the Imperial system. So
Imagine
Good
the
to know.
Control X if the entire original mountain
Oops.
vanished.
Yeah. So as that is happening, the Bad Batch is on the ground. They are trying to get closer to the base, and then they run into, I believe it's the same beast that we saw in the third episode
Yeah.
of this season.
Yeah.
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 angry bear cat thing.
Yep.
Right.
Owlbear.
But correct me if I'm wrong. It had red eyes.
That was
in,
at night,
in the third episode, right or no?
that was at night though, and it was glowing. So
Okay.
maybe
It's like yellowy eyes.
it only
It's
a
phosphoresces at
beast.
night. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it phosphoresces at night. Think about when we went kayaking and we got told
Yes.
that the like alligators and
Oh, yeah.
crocs would have eyes that glow in the dark.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That was
don't blow
almost a
the
year
day.
ago. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Miss
another
those
thing
manatees.
I want to bring our attention to, because we glazed over it earlier. All of
Remember.
Rampart's screams were hilarious.
Yes.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
They were so funny.
And there's a lot of that here with this beast.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He's
Reminded
such
me of
such a
Lego
baby.
Star Wars.
He
He's
was
a
such
mini.
yeah.
have
It's funny because he was such like he was a vicious villain in that first season. Like he
Yeah.
blew up Camino. Like that was on his orders.
Yep.
And then you cut to where he is now and he's screaming every chance he gets.
Yeah.
Like he's
I-
just running, he's falling, he's just freaking out.
I
Yeah,
get
but that's because he only has power if he can order people around.
Yeah.
Beyond that, he's
I
just a
agree.
sniveling idiot, you know.
Yeah.
It's
But
vaguely Agent Callisi from Rebels.
I know.
Yeah.
so I'm curious about the whole fight with the bear
It's
Cat.
called a Dryax, apparently.
and Dryax. We love
Yeah,
it
just
with
look
that
it
guy. I'm curious what you guys think about the fact that it absolutely just slices open Wrecker's armor, because this guy has
Yeah.
been a mercenary for years and his armor's not get sliced open. So it was like, are these beasts like, are they native here?
It
Are
could be
they-
extremely old armor.
I mean, it could be that
Yeah.
the armor just like today was like one too many missions.
All right.
Today's the day.
When
Or is it
you-
like, are these things like especially horrible? I don't know. Like I'm
All right, when you strip paint off something, you sand it and it removes material. You do something to it with chemicals that just weakens it. Maybe he just kind of screwed up. They took the
He has a
paint
good point.
armor weak.
The paint removal left like visible gouges, which would be like great
mean-
starting points for cracks.
That was totally facetious, but like at the same time, it could be a thing.
yeah.
Just sand it
just
right back
curious
down
if,
to
like,
the print line.
Because like Tantus has all of the like little Batcher guys, like is
Yeah.
this one of their failed experiments?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
Hmm.
Like
That could be.
is that why the claws are so like
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I was going with it. Because I'm like, that's really high powered if it can go through
Yeah, yeah.
potentially Kataran armor. So
I mean, that thing's like huge and seems
Yeah.
like jacked. And so I'd assume that its claws are like quite sharp.
Yeah, it looked like it was
Yeah.
at least 3 times Wrecker size.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not very surprised.
And
So
Wrecker's
does
not
this make
tiny.
us like worry about him more? Because like he
Yes.
keeps Wrecker keeps
Yeah.
getting in trouble.
Yeah, I feel like it's like
Yes.
some
Yeah.
shadowing.
I know
He's
he's, like almost
constantly in
falling
trouble.
off some shit,
Yeah.
jumping onto a
Yeah.
onto a ship, and then
He got
he's
blown up.
Also, what's the other thing?
He got blown up. Yeah.
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 He's taking a beating.
Gotta-
at the end of this
Gotta watch
season.
out for him.
Yeah.
He got attacked by those weird tentacle vines from earlier.
Oh
episodes.
yeah.
He's
This
just
whole
gotten it this
season, he's
season,
just
yeah.
gotten pounded.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's on the run. Of Rampart, he's on the run. He's screaming. He falls and he gets captured. And I know we kind of talked about it a tiny bit earlier, but do we really think he's gonna do anything? Like,
I don't know what he can do. Like, I
I-
really don't know.
I think so. This kind of goes back to like what we were saying, or you guys were saying about his comment to Crosshair, because he says that he acts in favor of himself, and that Crosshair does the same thing, or at least he did, right? Until he kind of started seeing that like the Empire is also not good, because he did act like for himself to keep himself alive. Like you can like whether or not it was a chip or whatever, right? But so I feel like Rampart was trying to kind of like get in his head, like, you're not actually a good person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was trying to manipulate him and be like, you're not actually a good person.
Yeah.
Like, like I doubt you changed, like he's trying to doubt Crosshair and put doubt in his mind. And I think him saying that he acts for himself, like that Rampart acts for himself, while he doesn't have that much info, because like they never explicitly talked about a plan that we know of.
Yeah.
Actually in front of him, I feel like he'll want to help them so that they don't kill him or something,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but he won't have enough to like give them.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
what's going to happen is he's going to claim to have information that's going to get him taken either to like Scorch or Hemlock, and he's just going to get
Yeah.
executed.
Yeah.
Because like there's nothing you could give us.
Right.
And
Yeah,
He
I
doesn't
it
have
came
anything.
from them that they are cold-hearted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what I want to know is what are the show writers trying to tell us by bringing him? Because like so far in this particular episode, it's like he's not that useful to the
Yeah.
plot. So what are they doing? Why
What
are
do they want him for
giving-
next
Yeah,
episode?
yeah. So maybe it is to execute him to be like, oh god, these guys mean business.
Yeah.
But maybe he's got some piece of info. I don't know. So I'm curious about
Yeah.
that.
I could also
Yeah.
see them like if they were to do it fast enough and like maybe if it was still in the forest to try and like convince him to like double cross the badge.
Right. Sure.
Like, I
that's
could see
interesting.
that happening if it like obviously it would have to be like next episode very quick.
Yeah.
But like
The opening.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Scorch was like, oh, this is what you're gonna do. Fake Scorch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I gotta
Of course. What? Who said that?
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, and then we get to the part of where Echo goes into the room where Mega's blood was being tested for a very long time, and then Dr. Emery sees him, and then like she like puts two and two together, and you know she's just like, oh, you're Echo, right? And then she pretty much is like, well, you know, I don't want this life anymore. I want to help you, but we have to help get the kids out. And then Echo is like, what kids? And I
Yeah.
think I know Josh wasn't here last week, but I think Hunter's the one that said that that was probably going to happen, of where she would end up you know, kind of joining the Bad Batch in a way. So
Yeah.
The
how do we
magnitude
feel
of
about
Hunter's
that?
genius just shines through every week.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It generates a gravity, man.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
One thing I really wanted to comment on was Emery's like Echo saying, "Hey, like, why you're a clone? Why did you do this?" And she's like, "It was just my job." And then she sees probably the most like experimented on clone in history.
Yeah.
The gaunt face, the metal tubes,
Yeah.
like the like connection joints out of his skull, like the most. I am the product of people saying they're just doing their job
Yeah.
for the sake of research.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's also like I think, you know, aiming to really paint that parallel between the Empire and the experimentation that they do on people to like, and I like to go a little bit like a heavy topic, but like, you know, to, you know, Nazi Germany. Because
Yeah.
that was the most common defense you hear, which was I was just following orders. And it's just like,
Yeah.
well, too freaking bad. That's not a valid defense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say too. I was like, it was totally such a callback to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Yep.
I think it's also like even in that, it's really full circle for Echo to be back here getting clones out of an experimentation
Yeah,
place where
yep.
they're
Yeah.
being used to help a evil system try to defeat
Yep.
his brothers. It's like he's right back in a spot where he would have been
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the CX clone, or like kind of, you know, or whatever, or the
Yeah.
clones being used against the other clones. And so it's like it is really full circle for his story to be
Mhm.
back here.
Yeah.
And having Emery be apparently someone that can think for herself and is choosing to be here or has chosen to be here that's pretty much entirely directly Echoes like kind of
I
against
wonder.
him. So
I wonder if any of the other doctors are also clones to some extent.
they seem like
Well, it's
some of
hard
them
to
kind
tell.
of look like it. I can't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah,
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 because
Because,
some
like,
of them
the one-
visually
I
are
don't-
very similar, like facially design language
Yes.
to Emery.
yeah.
But they
the
also
one-
have like the other doctor that is
Yes.
the one who's taking stuff. She's clearly not
exactly.
directly a copy.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
And they also, so before Echo has this conversation and he's scanning through clones and he finds Omega, we do see him go through kind of like a roster of what clones they have there. I didn't recognize any clones that we knew. I rewatched that scene over and over again to see through the pictures he was scanning through to see if we saw Cody or Wolf or anyone, but didn't look like we saw anyone or any clone that we knew.
yeah, I didn't recognize anyone.
Yeah.
And I feel like
It
if
reminded
they
me
wanted. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I feel like if they really wanted to paint like a clear picture of here is other people they have like experimented on to the same extent. They would have picked very recognizable clone faces.
Yeah.
Like we know that like, Wolf's got the scar and a blind eye. We know Cody's got some facial scarring as well. They would have picked characters that are very clearly like, oh, this has to be that character.
Yep.
Yep. So
It reminded me a lot of, I think it was the first Clone Wars movie. There was a clone, like draw clones book, like draw characters from the Clone Wars. And one of them was a blank page of generic clone faces. It was like, create your own clones, like add their own hairstyles or tattoos or what have you. And it just reminded me of that book. I remember that.
yeah. And after that, we cut back to the vault, and the kids were like, how to go, what happened, and Omega's, she basically says, I have a plan, and then the screen goes black, and that's it.
Roll
And
credits.
that episode was only 24 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
They packed a lot in.
Way
and
too
yet-
short.
Like
Super
they
short.
packed a ton in, but then they also didn't get that far.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't.
Yes.
It was a weird feeling. Like both of those things were true.
Did you guys feel like the pacing was really fast too? Because
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt like,
Yeah.
bam, the establishing
It
shots were
almost
too fast.
it was like not like real time, but like we got every event
Yeah.
as it happened sequentially. Like we didn't
Yeah.
give them time to like traverse through the forest and then caught
Yeah,
up with them
right.
later. It was just their whole journey,
It,
Yeah.
it really felt like everything was happening at the same period of time, and they
Yeah.
were just cutting between the same 10 minutes.
Yeah.
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 And there was a lot of things they did to make sure that was conveyed, and they smartly,
Mhm.
rightly so, like having the turbo laser batteries go off, and then that is when we
Yeah.
kick off with Omega, is so we know, okay, this is
Yes.
our
Yeah.
time frame reference, and also from the sake of, the complaints of filler episodes and what have you, that's plagued the Bad Batch for almost its entire runtime. Having an episode like this where we don't get a lot of those things that we're expecting to have in what a lot of people say, oh, maybe a 2-part finale, what have you. We didn't get that.
Nope.
Yeah.
So keeping that pacing up allows this show to make it like, this is moving fast. We didn't take extra time where we didn't have to. It kind of keeps up that almost illusion of quickness so it doesn't feel fillery.
See, but
Yeah.
I kind of felt like it did in some places because, like Omega, I love seeing her, explore and she's trying to figure out how to get out. But she's already explored once, kind of. Now she does it again, finds the Zillo Beast. All she does is look at it. And it kind of feels like the entire time we're following her, there's only been a tiny little, thing revealed, which is, oh, the Zillo Beast, which is a big deal. But still, I kind of feel like
Yeah.
that's
See,
faster.
I think
I don't
mine is more about like the pacing of the episode was really fast, but like as much as like it was fun to see another creature, it wasn't necessary for the actual plot to move them into Tantus. At least not that I can think of. It would be. I mean, maybe the Beast will show up and help. I don't know. Maybe it will. Whatever. But
Yeah.
point being, it like felt like really fast paced, but yet they're not even like right. Like they're not even to Tantus yet. Like they literally like they moved a very small amount, which again
Mhm.
isn't maybe a problem. Like maybe that's all going to be in a huge long episode next week.
Yeah.
But it was like it did feel like there was tons of stuff, and yet they only moved
yeah.
like this far,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was an interesting.
I'm also leaning towards the theory that Josh had, where we get a lot of loose ends to where that might lead to another announcement where they're like, "Here's Clone Adventures," or it's probably going to
Mhm,
be
yeah.
a better name than that. But I could see
Those
them
are the
doing
songs.
that. Yeah,
I hope so.
I
really
feel
hope
yeah,
I feel like for like if you think writing wise, like we're getting to that point in like whether it's like this is a series, right? So if you're thinking about like those different books and things or like other types of writing, like this would be the point where things like start going really quickly.
Yeah.
Like we still have those little things in there, and I think like part of showing just the Zillo Beast. One, I think it built up a lot of like, okay, Omega and Echo are in like the same, like they're so close to each other. Like maybe she'll look through something like she did with the Zillo Beast, right? But see Echo, like where it gets you like on the edge of your seat to be like, what is she going to find? What is she going to hear? And like, we're like, oh, it's just the Zillo Beast. But it kind of goes back to that if you write about the gun on the wall, it has to go off at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pickups.
They don't
They're
really
bring it
I'm gonna
back
say
in.
that. Yeah. Well, I think
So-
that maybe oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like the pacing of it. I think it's so fast. And then they reveal you just like little crumbs for you that if the episode next week is an hour, I'll feel like, oh, okay, yeah, that was good setup, that was good pacing. If the episode next week is 25 minutes, I'm gonna feel like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
true.
so
Oh,
like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god, that didn't give us enough this week
Yeah.
to fully fulfill it the next week. So I think it kind of depends for me,
what
kind of on the
happens,
runtime next week.
Yeah. So that was actually a point I was going to bring up because
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, someone posted a screenshot of a glitch that had happened on their Disney Plus app on their Apple TV, which was they had finished the episode and then it gave them a short like click to the next episode screen and it said runtime left an hour and 30 minutes.
What?
Now, this was 2 weeks ago. And we knew there was more than an episode left at that point. So people were speculating in the comment section of that Reddit screenshot, being like, maybe it's saying like, oh, maybe it's looking at like you've looked at past stuff. And everybody's like, no, it said play next.
Yeah.
And the title on the display was this title.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Um,
We knew the titles,
But
so
at the same
that's
time,
not-
it's also like it's a Reddit screenshot. So it could be some guy.
Right.
It's a Reddit screenshot of an episode title we already knew 2
Right.
months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
That's
Yeah.
easily
Fun to think
doctored.
about.
My-
From a server standpoint, too, that just makes absolutely no sense.
right.
That,
But it would be a pretty serious kind of glitch to have happen.
Yeah.
So my thinking is runtime wise, they're probably going to try to make the finale of Bad Batch feel like the finale of season 7 of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's-
better.
yeah, that's extremely likely. Also, going back a little bit, excuse me to pull a Colin. Omega going through the ducts and crawling around and like looking through the grate to see the Zillo Beast reminded me a lot of Batman Arkham Asylum.
I mean,
I
I would
bet
say
that-
Die Hard
that
more,
was-
but
You know what it
It's
reminds
very
me of?
Arkham.
For sure.
Temple of Doom, where they're going through the hidden passages in the palace and see through some of the
No.
eyes.
No, it's an Arkham reference. That is
It's
all.
actually a reference to when I walk through hallways and look through windows. Like my everyday life.
What's going on in this classroom?
you like haven't even watched Temple of Doom yet, Star. You have no room to talk.
Ugh.
How dare you? It's fine. It's okay. Well, yeah, and I don't know. It still doesn't feel like the end either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And I think
No, not
that's
at
the
all.
weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so we have the episode next week, and
Yep.
to me, it's like, okay, it's the next episode. It doesn't
Yep.
feel like it's the final episode,
No.
and
Right.
it's just a weird feeling because of I will
Yeah.
always remember the hype train of that first episode that we got because it came out on May 4th,
Yep.
and all of us were just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like this is insane, like Order
Yeah.
66 happening all over again, and you know, it's at the end of Revenge of the Sith and working its way into and into the darker times of the Empire, and now that we're at the end of this, it doesn't feel like the end, and it's just
Mm-mm.
weird.
Yeah. Yep. It is.
So yeah.
All right.
Can we get our top predictions for the last episode?
Oh God.
It's gonna have a
Starting with
runtime
Josh.
longer than 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's a cliffhanger.
I
What?
was going to say Death of Hemlock.
Okay. I would like to go back to Hunter's theory about the cliffhanger thing.
Yeah, I think they're gonna leave a lot of open ends.
It's a cliffhanger, and then they drop something on May 4th. The rest of
Alongside
it.
Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, the end, the actual last episode,
Okay.
That's
ended
like-
on May 4th. I don't know.
That's like
I'm just saying.
They just aren't going to answer where these characters end up.
No.
no.
Hunter, you're basically betting on like overtime at a Super Bowl game.
My predictions, they're all dead.
Wow.
Yeah. For sure.
Pulling a Rogue One. There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, everybody but Omega.
I don't
Yeah.
want to think about that.
Sorry.
I would rather not know.
Those would be really easy CRLs to write.
The last domino must fall.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Mm.
man. Yeah. My prediction is that we see Cody show up with Rex, or Cody is one of the sleepers, which again, we haven't. I mean, yeah, there's also the sleeper that we didn't see in this episode
I
as
know.
well.
Yep.
So now there's so much that they got to talk
I
about.
know. I know.
Oh my gosh.
Tales of the CX clones.
I'd watch that. I would too.
I'd watch that.
Tales of the guys, our bad. This really wasn't a season finale. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tales of the CX clones that is just a super cut of every assassination attempt that they have.
Tales of the Bad Batch season 4.
Jeez. Oh man. Well, are we all going to be able to be on for the finale next week? Because I know
Yes.
we all have different plans.
Yes.
And I
No.
don't think it's going to
No.
be possible for me and Hunter and Hannah.
No, we'll be on a plane.
Yikes.
I will be in a car.
Ah,
Yikes.
I
okay.
should be able to make it.
That was very reassuring, Joshua.
I
Yeah,
have my
that's
senior
confident.
design project presentations. I need to
That's
be
not
home, so,
important.
but they're on Thursday, so I think I should.
Okay, well,
Unless like something
job.
unforeseen
You'll be fine.
happens.
some
I
of
just
us
need
will
to get
be
a
here.
piece of paper that I can have a job.
Some of us will be here, I guess.
yeah.
But
and if
yeah,
they all die, I'll be just here crying.
It'll just be an hour
So-
of crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. If that's the case, just send me a snap.
memorializing all of
I
them.
can cry in the car.
well, there you go. All right. Well, from all of us from the Star Stuff podcast, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. May the force be with you always.